Hi everybody. Let's play a simple game today. Yeah, let's do something exciting, something that is fun. It's not exactly a game, but it's a kind of algorithm, genetic algorithm. Must have heard somewhere. So basically, what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be writing genetic algorithm code. But before we do that, there's gonna be a little bit of theory in case somebody doesn't really know how genetic algorithm works. And then obviously I'll be coding in front of you. But it's not my main agenda is not to get the code across to you guys, obviously, because you can find it on the internet wherever you wish to. But my whole point is how to attack it. We'll know what the problem is and how the working should be, and then taken from there step by step, we're just gonna attack the problem and then try and logically think how to get to that root of the problem and come up with a solution. And all of this is going to be happening with object oriented approach, so hang in there. And in case if somebody doesn't really understand, I must say this, that this is not for absolute beginners. In case if you're absolute beginner, then I would really advise you to go back to my other videos where I've explained classes and objects and self and all that kind of stuff. And once you're okay types with that, not really, like, I don't expect you to have great deal of understanding, but once you're okay with it, you hop onto this one and then you start off. And now I'll explain with pen, and I'll tell you what the target is. And at every step, you just pause the video when I'll be asking questions and just think about it. Because if you don't think, there's no way you're gonna be developing any kind of logic, right? It's very tempting to get to the solution as soon as problem is thrown at you, but don't do that. Just at least have one single kind of solution in your head. It doesn't matter if it's not okay or if it's not correct solution, but still you should always have some kind of solution in your head, because that's how life runs, right? You're thrown problems, the problems are being thrown at you, but you don't really have the solutions most of the times. But then you try, you hit and try, and then eventually you get the solution, hopefully. So just stay and listen and just have some kind of solution, right, when I'm asking questions. See you in the theory. Bye.
Welcome everybody. Okay, so today we'll be dealing with genetic algorithm. Now the problem. Listen very carefully. So this is our target. This is what we wish to have. So basically it's a sentence which says I love Python. Okay. So this is what we gonna be. This should be the final output. And we have small alphabets A to Z, capital alphabets A to Z, right? And then we have numbers, or you can put whatever you wish to. And so the more items which you put, then you have more control over what you can really think of as a target, right? We're just going to keep it simple, so it's just going to be lowercase and uppercase English, right? You can put digits as well in case if you wish to. Now randomly you're just going to, so the starting point is randomly you're just going to create a sentence. So for example, if you randomly you're creating of the same length, you're creating a sentence, it might probably come out like this. We don't know because it's going to be random, correct? But then we'll calculate its fitness. And how do we do that? I'll tell you. So we calculate its fitness, and that's how we decide what part of the solution, so what part of this random sentence we're going to be keeping and what part we'll just let go of, right? And then put some other random values in it. So this is basically the fitness score. So you're just going to be comparing, for example, just to give you a little example. So the first, one moment. Sorry for that. Actually, battery was running out. Anyway, so the first letter is I, and in the target it's I. So we don't increase our fitness. Okay. Second alphabet is L, but over here we have 0, right? So we say fitness is 1. And the other one is O. This is O over here, so we don't do anything, right? And it is V. This is U, although it looks like V, but it's U. Trust me, it's just my handwriting. So we increase the fitness, right? So we calculate. So we increase the fitness score by 1. So we have fitness score of 2, and then L is here, E is here. So obviously we increase it by 1 again. So and so. So we'll have one particular kind of fitness score for this sentence which we have randomly generated, right? And then we'll have a population of around 100 such sentences, random sentences, and every sentence will have its own fitness score, correct? So then we will just try and sort it out in increasing order, decreasing order, depending upon our criteria, and then we'll just let go of the 50% of the worst sentences or worst sentences with worst fitness scores, and then we will again randomly generate 50 more, but they won't be as random. Why? Because we will be mating these 50. For example, we have let go of 50 worst sentences, but the top 50, we're just going to be mating them with each other to produce other 50, just to keep population to 100. Okay, so that's exactly what we do. And eventually, when we'll just keep doing this over and over again, then once the fitness score is 0, that's when we think we are done. And that's when this I don't know how to pronounce this. So this pizza will convert into Python, and this will convert into love. So that's exactly how genetic algorithm really works. So the main crux is that you're just gonna be having pool or genes, right? And this is your chromosome, which is sentence in our sense, like what we are doing. So basically, you're just gonna be picking up random values from the genes, and then you're gonna be creating your chromosome, and then you impart your fitness to the chromosome, and obviously because of the population is size is 100, so you're just going to keep 50% of the population, the best 50% of the population you're just going to keep and let go of the other 50%, and then you try and sort, and then you mate again, and then you make it 100 again, and then you keep sorting again. So this keeps on running until you get to the point where your fitness score is 0, right? So that's basically the whole point of genetic algorithm. Now that we understand that how genetic algorithm works, but how do we attack it in a Pythonic way? Not exactly a Pythonic way, like how do we code it efficiently using object-oriented approach? So now just pause for a moment and think, what should be the class? Like, what should class have in case if we're gonna be making it object-oriented approach? If we are using an object-oriented approach, obviously there's going to be a class and there are going to be objects. So what should be the class? Just pause the video and think about it. So the final thing which we want is the sentence or chromosome, right? And every sentence or chromosome has its own fitness value. So these are the two attributes which should be there in the class, correct? So the sentence itself should be there, and there should be a fitness score attached to it as your field, right? In your class. So for every object that we'll be creating, chromosome object, that won't just be the sentence, it will also have your fitness value. So those are the two fields which we do require. So it makes sense to put those two things inside the init function. So the moment you create your object, right? So those two values, they should be imparted to the to fitness score and the chromosome, right? Okay, we have decided two attributes are going to be there. So the sentence will be there and its fitness score will be there. What other functions can we think of, really, which will be there in our class? So just pause the video and think, what function could be there? Well, the first function should be when we'll be creating these random sentences. So there should be a function which will be used to create these random sentences, correct? What can you think of? Can you think of another function which could be used? Just pause the video and think. So we already have this attribute which is going to be the fitness value of each sentence. So it makes sense to make that, obviously because we'll be calculating the fitness score. So it makes sense to make another function which will just be taking care of the fitness value. So it's just going to be returning the fitness value. So we're just going to be passing in our sentence, the random sentence which we have generated, and then we'll be calculating the fitness score, right? So we already have two functions now. First one, which is going to be producing these ones, random sentences, and then another one which is going to be calculating the fitness score, right? What other function can you think of? Just pause for a minute, think. Remember I told you that Okay, let's go through these steps. Okay, so we're just gonna be creating a random population. Obviously, we'll be using one function, and then the object, obviously it has sentence and it has fitness value, correct? And then we sort the population out, and then we drop the worst 50, right? And the remaining 50 have to be mated, and that function, there should be a function which is gonna be like, returning you the new sentences, random sentences which you'll be making after mating. So that mating function should also be there. So we already have three functions now. The first one is which is going to be which is going to be generating your random sentences. Second one, which is going to be generating your fitness values. Third one, which is going to be used for mating, right? Can you think of another one? Don't worry, we'll see as we go along. But pat yourself in case if you could think of anything which I've mentioned, the functions. But once we start coding, I think like it's gonna be more clear. But just to give you an idea, rough idea, like how to attack any kind of problem when you are encountered with. So these are the basic steps. So basically, you make your class depending upon the stuff which you're going to be requiring every now and then, obviously because there are 100 random sentences which we'll need, right? And we would want to know these sentences, what are those sentences, the fitness values. So it makes sense to put that thing in the class, right? Because that's the object that we were going to be creating. 100 times we'll be creating that sentence, so it's better to make it an object. So once you know what your object should be, there you go, you already have your class defined, right? So it's just a matter of things like what other attributes would you want to put into the class. That's basically that's left to it. Otherwise, you're sorted. And I think this is enough for the introduction for the theory bit. And let's just jump into the code and let's see how it works. See you in the spider.